So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Easy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homie Matt and I. Hope you enjoyed listening to us provide our multiple movie and TV show recommendations. And if you did end up watching any of those movies or shows, please let us know. You know, we always love hearing from you, all the listeners. So now for episode 119 of Easy Conversations. I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio virtually with the homie Matt. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great time right now, enjoying the last few warm days of the end of summer. We got a good episode for you tonight. Nothing movie related, but something very useful, I think. So, Eric, why don't you tell the listeners what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so for this episode, we're going to be doing something a little different. Is outright just sharing a bunch of different life hacks, so ways to optimize processes and regular tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis, perhaps, or every once in a blue moon. Just ways to make everything a little easier for everybody. And those various tasks. Like Matt, I have no idea in which direction you took yours. For me, well, you'll find out soon. And it was a little harder than I thought it would be, to be honest, to come up with these life hacks. I thought I'd have a bunch just off the top of my head. Turns out that was not the case. I had to really think. And I've come up with around 10 life hacks to share here. So Matt, before you kick us off with your first life hack, do you want to share how the process was for you? Was it easy, hard? And then what was your first one you want to share?
Like yourself, Eric, it was hard for me, too, to make my list. I thought I could come up with some easily as well, but I brought in the spectrum of the definition of life hack to include, my definition is clever tips, techniques, or shortcuts that make little tasks easier. So that's what I went with. After that, I thought of everything I do day to day, week to week, and I wrote a bunch of stuff down. But yeah, I'm super random. My list is super random. I don't even know if these are obvious things that everyone's doing or completely new to some people. But for sure, I'll kick us off. I'll start in the kitchen let's go with clean while cooking. Basically, as I'm preparing the meal, as it's prepared and actually cooking, I'm putting stuff away in the pantry, putting stuff in the sink, pre-rinsing it. Once the food's cooking, putting all the food in glass Tupperwares so I can get at those pots and pans that are sticky, soaking with soap to do the dishes by hand. Just being clean and organized in the kitchen. I know it doesn't seem like much, but I know a lot of people don't do it either. After the meal's done, there's 10 open spice bottles on the counter. That's not I don't like that. I like everything has to be neat. And while it's cooking, you can already start prepping and doing the cleanup. So Eric, do you do this?
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, I was debating putting this on my list as well, honestly. And it's not something that I've always done. So I've lived on my own in different times in my life where the first time that I moved out, I definitely didn't do this, I guess the second time. So both the first two times I moved out, I definitely didn't do this. I would prep, cook, then clean religiously in that order. And I'm going to say right off the rip, a lot of my life hacks come from Andy. A lot of them are stuff that I've incorporated based on stuff that she does. So this is definitely one of them. When we'd make a meal together, if we're cooking or she's cooking and I'm just sitting around, she's like, all right, well, can you help clean or something? And then it has become a habit of mine since then, where before I would always wait for the meal to be cooked and eaten before cleaning. It's so much better. Whether we're cooking together or alone, you definitely do have time to let a chicken breast cook for 5 minutes without having to touch it. And then you can put some water in pans, like you said, clean stuff on the counter. It makes for such a better cool down period after you're actually done eating, because the last thing you want to do after you've eaten is clean up. It objectively sucks to clean up after you eat, but you have to do it, and it makes it way easier if you get a head start, if not get everything cleaned up while you're cooking said meal. I know it's not possible to clean everything as you're cooking because you're literally using some of them, but whatever you can clean, I 100% endorse this. This is a staple in our household, and there's no other way to do it, honestly. I agree.
Nice.
So yeah, like I said, I was gonna go this route as well, and I'll just say right now as well, a lot of mine are food related. The majority of my hacks have to do with cooking techniques and just efficiencies in the kitchen. The first one I'll go with is something that just discovered recently. It's a well, when you're cooking on a stainless steel pan, for example, like you want to make sure you have the right lubricant to make sure everything doesn't stick on there. So it's kind of tricky to cook on there. And one that we found to be effective is feta cheese. To cook your egg directly in feta cheese, game
Oh,
changer. And I'll say right away also, maybe don't go in stainless steel for this, but cooking on a pan with feta cheese as your base, where you just let that melt a little, throw a bit of avocado oil in there also to help make it a little more liquid and sticky. And then once that's melted nicely, throw your egg in there, let a crust develop, flip it over, and then throw that in a breakfast burrito. Absolutely delicious. And you don't need a sauce with that either. So I would have thought that you need like some sort of spicy mayo in the burrito with that. Absolutely unnecessary. The feta and the egg combination make for kind of a runny liquid as well while being solid somehow. Trust me, it's amazing. So I would say cooking eggs in feta cheese, test it out. Well, feta cheese is delicious, first of all.
yeah.
Eggs are great. So try that out, especially the breakfast burrito route. I don't know if this is a life hack necessarily or if it's just a recipe I'm sharing, but using the feta as your base to cook the egg in is what I'm endorsing here.
Wow, that's awesome. I had no I don't know about that, so I learned something new just now. Definitely gonna have to try that because I do like my eggs. I get eggs from a guy at work, farm fresh eggs, like from his chickens, and they're delicious. Like I love my eggs now. But no, I would feta cheese. All right, good tip, Eric. Definitely a life hack. It's like a tip. It's like a tip for instead of just throwing butter all the time on there, use
Exactly,
something
right?
else.
Price
I,
of
I'm a big
butter ain't
butter.
cheap.
I'm a big Yeah, exactly. I'm a big butter guy for that. I'll stay in the kitchen too for a little bit, but since you have a lot, I'll just say one more kitchen one.
Okay.
And maybe this is one of yours, but this is a game changer when I'm preparing a salad. For years, I've been peeling my lettuce off, rinsing them individually, dabbing them with paper towel. Now I have something called the salad spinner, and I freaking adore it. There's no other way I can make a salad now. I chop everything up, then put it in the salad spinner, then rinse it and spin it. Well, I'm sure you've seen how it works, but it's a game changer. You have to have one.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have a salad spinner? I'm guessing you do because you're a big salad guy.
I come from a long line of salad spinners and of salad spinner owners, I should say. But yeah, no, I definitely have one. It's essential to have. There's quite a few variants as well of either the crank where you're manually stirring it. It's kind of a workout for that arm. And I don't know if you've seen or this is the one you have, but just a pump where you're just pumping it up and down in the middle and it just will spin automatically. Those are the best because you're really not having to put any manual labor into it. And that no matter what you're getting, the same experience or the same result. It's just a different experience and process. But I would say, yeah, salad spinner is definitely a must-have. Manually rinsing leaves of lettuce, then drying them down in either paper towels or just towels. It is quite cumbersome. So I wouldn't recommend that. And yeah, once you get on the salad spinner game, it's hard to step away and try anything else. So no, I would endorse that for sure. As a big salad guy myself, it's a must, definitely.
Excellent.
So I'll keep going with food for now, and then I'll switch it up after. So actually, it's kind of a food variant. So this is something that we do all the time when doing groceries. It's an absolute must. It does take a bit more time and preparation before you go out, but using an app called Flip or price matching, not sure if this is something you do, Matt, but definitely something that helps to save money, where this app essentially gives you the flyer for every single grocery department. Yeah, anyways, grocery store department store, whatever, and the deals that they have for that given week. And then you can circle the deals that they have and bring those to a different store, like Superstore, for example, will price match where you bring them, okay, the price of a tomato is 194 per kilo as opposed to 247 per kilo at Superstore. You just have to provide the source, and then they will reduce the price of the item based on that price match. So it's a good way to save some money. Like I said, it takes a bit more time and prep to do. Not always fun, but in the long run, it's a good way to be economical about how you go about doing your groceries. And yeah, I mean, I guess that would be it, really. Is price matching is good. Instead of just going to maybe a more high-end spot like Farm Boy, for example, and buying everything there where it is a bit more expensive. If you're able to break up how you do your groceries in two different spots, one where you're able to do the price match, because not every store price matches, first of all. So Superstore is one of them that does. So I'd say it's worth the extra 15 to 30 minutes of prep to do.
That's a good tip, Eric. I've heard of it quickly, but I wasn't sure on the details. I'm a person that will go to two, three different grocery stores to get the specials and see what the best prices are. So I think this app would be useful just in the sense that it would show me, like I look at each flyer individually, but I'm guessing this app has everything on in the application. So it would just save me time in that sense. So that's really good. I need to look into that actually.
It has everything.
Call,
and I'll say this was also a submission from my mom. So she has imparted this wisdom on me as well. So it's been a game changer to have from day one, aka whenever I started doing groceries for myself.
Yeah, no, I for sure. So the Flip app, I'll have to get that.
FLIPP.
FLIPP, awesome. Yeah. I buy lots of groceries every week, so it's super useful. My next one, very simple. I mean, I know you do this, Eric, but like, basically, it's listen to music when doing annoying chores. I know it sounds stupid, but having AirPods, basically, where you don't have like a cord. And I do this all the time when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing annoying chores, basically. It's in my submission. It just makes the time go by faster. Also, all my outdoor work, I'm listening to music, cutting the grass, getting the wood ready. Anyways, anything I do, I have my music, and it's a game changer. I kind of enjoy doing it because I get to listen to my music. Same with my working out, I get to listen to some music. Okay, I don't mind my workout as much. I know you endorse this too, Eric. We've talked about this before, but that's like a good tip right there, is listen to your favorite music or podcast when doing annoying things.
Definitely. Like most things I do, especially when I'm alone at home, I'll always have something playing. Normally podcasts these days, honestly, is kind of what I've been into, just listening to a bunch of those. And it does help to either, like, you're not really thinking as much about what you're doing anymore, just kind of on cruise control and more listening to what you're doing, which, depending on what the task is, might not be the best way to go about things if you require focus. But it does help and provide entertainment while you're doing something that is not fun inherently to do. On the topic of listening to music while you cut the grass, for me, I find this kind of hard because the lawnmower, and I want to say this is kind of universal, lawnmower I have is quite loud, so I'm feeling like I have to crank the volume of my music. And then when I have to go to the backyard, I have to stop the lawnmower. So then I have that brief period where the music's playing at an enormously loud volume. I have to turn it down, then turn it right back up right away. So do I just pause the music and wait it out? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I know I'm being nitpicky here there, but definitely it's a absolute must. And I think I've caught some heat for this in the past, but I actually listen to podcasts sometimes when I work out, which might be a psycho move. But I enjoy it. I find it funny. While I will say, yes, like pump up music is definitely better, I don't mind having a good laugh listening to a podcast, an easy conversation, if you will, just studying the tape and working out at the same time. So bettering myself in two ways. Anyways, so no, that's a great one, Matt. Definitely. I'll go with one that is actually right next to me at my home office. So if you need this, I'll just try to show it to the camera. Invest in a coffee heater. So it's basically like a coffee mug heater. I got this as a gift for my annual gift exchange I do with my friends. And it's just like in plaque, like a heater, like I don't know, like something you just put your mug on, and it has different settings for like ceramic, glass. I think those are the main two ones, and then you have three different temperature levels. So 170 degrees, 150, 130. And as I'm going through my coffee, I don't need it to be as high, so I just lower it. I got a system down pat. I know when I'm at the 1/8 mark, I go to 130, 2/3, 150, etc. And it's really good. It makes the coffee last much longer. So this is really good if you're in a home office, for example, or if you're in a room at home where you have a computer and you just want to really enjoy your coffee and not zip through it. Like I really like to sip on my coffee personally and don't need it to be boiling hot, but this kind of keeps it at the perfect temperature. And like I said, it's very, you can toggle the different temperatures. So I would say investing in that, huge game changer. And I don't want to say sad, but I'm kind of sad when my coffee's done because I only have one per day. So I want to cherish that and stretch it out as long as I can. Monkey D. Luffy style, if you know, you know. And I think it's a great little add-on to have. I don't think it's very expensive, too. We have a $30 limit in our gift exchange, so you can cop one for under $29.99 if you're so inclined. So, Hoffy, cup, heater, plaque. Do it up.
That's great, Eric. You said a lot of good things there. I like, okay, because I have, first of all, one coffee a day. That's insane. I have like 8. But but I always have the problem. I don't work in an office, but I drink coffee a lot at home. And I'm always like not finishing it. It's always sitting on the counter. 2 hours later, I put it in the microwave 1 minute. It's hot. I'm doing this like 3-4 times a day, Eric. Because I'm like short attention span. I can remember my coffee. So maybe investing one for home would be good for me. Just to like keep it on, not boiling, scalding hot, but like you said, just drinkable.
Exactly.
Good call. I'm a coffee one. It's very simple, and maybe it's like everybody knows this, but like if you're putting milk or cream in your coffee, and I see this at work all the time, but like pour the cream and the milk in the cup first. That way, if you put too much, you can pour it back out, and then put your coffee in after. Okay. For the simple fact that, like I said, if for the measurement purposes, and if you're using a Keurig, like it'll mix better. The cream and sugar will mix better. But yeah, that's my life hack. Just pour that stuff in first, then pour your coffee. And maybe everybody does this. Maybe it's not a big revelation, but are you a cream and sugar guy, Eric?
I'm not. Coffee black exclusively. The only time I'll have a coffee that has some sort of cream adhesive into it would be when I get a latte. Kind of a yearly thing when we go cut our Christmas tree. That'd be when I would partake. Pumpkin spice latte maybe once a year, if that.
Yeah.
That's those would be the exceptions, honestly. And for an iced coffee, actually, that's where I don't drink iced coffee black. I don't really get those often, to be honest. The window's really dying on those, but
yeah. No,
that's a good tip for sure. Back in my cream and sugar days, that would have been good to know because I was a known over. Anyways, putting a lot of maybe too much in there. But yeah, I just want to also add on when you're saying you're microwaving your coffee, I feel like that's such a how is the best way to say this? Like just a big jump up in it goes from being cold to extremely hot to then cold like pretty quickly. So I'm telling you, this coffee heater would be huge for you because the microwave is only such a temporary relief and offers very limited satisfaction rates, return on investment there. But no, that's good. I'll keep the food train going and keep my non-food ones for later because I have way more food ones, which would be buy a whole chicken instead of the sum of its parts when you're going to buy chicken. First of all, again, more economic, and you can get 2 breasts, 2 thighs, 2 legs, drums, and the flappy bird, and you get the nice chicken skin we all crave, and not best for last, but also great that you also have the bones from which you can make a broth, which is we're around that time right now where soup season's coming up. making your own broth. I don't know if I've ever talked about, probably have talked about this on the pod, honestly, but I'm looking forward to doing that. We have a carcass just collecting frost bites in the freezer right now, just primed, ready to be thrown in the crock pot, the instant pot. But yeah, buying a whole bird is definitely worth it. Like I said, you can normally get them for like 12 bones, pun intended, and when they go on sale, you can get them for like $5 at Farm Boy. So I would say this is definitely the move. Buy a whole chicken, and then it's you can watch a YouTube video. I've done this quite a few times. I forget, but you just watch the video on how to perfectly carve up that bird. Which, Matt, you worked in a meat shop, meat department. You know all about this. You would not need to watch said YouTube video. So, is this something you do? First of all, buy whole chicks, or yeah.
I definitely do that, Eric. It's a great
Nice.
tip. I didn't even think about putting that, but it's awesome. Yeah, unless the boneless, skinless chicken breasts are on sale, I'm not going to be buying that. I'm going to be buying the whole chickens. When those go on sale, when the whole chicken goes on sale, that's when I buy like 4 to 5 of them, and I'm getting 10 thighs, 10 breasts. You know, you double everything.
Yeah.
I need to get on the broth game, though. I just discard the bones. I should just freeze them, because why not? I can make a soup after. It's a very good point. When I worked at the meat shop, a lot of people did that. They just wanted the bones to make soup. You're getting your wings, too. It's super economical. You can do so much, and it's not that hard. Even if you're not getting that breast out cleanly and you're losing a bit of meat, it's still like you're still saving so much money. It's ridiculous. So great tip, Eric. Really, really good tip. I cook a lot of food, and just like the amount of food you get is insane. If you were to buy everything individually, you're like quadrupling the price. Very good tip, Eric. Kind of bummed that I didn't think of that, but glad you brought it to the table.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, yes. I'm going to go with something other, stray away from the kitchen now. This is a very broad life hack, but it's something I've used many times already. Basically, the life hack is zip ties. You have no idea how useful those things are to fix things and to just hang things, and I use them all the time now. So I hope everyone knows what a zip tie is. You can get them in different like thicknesses and sizes. Yeah. But like I just fixed my garbage can using zip ties. Like the handle broke off. I drilled some holes in the handle and in the garbage can, and I zip tied the thing back on it, and it worked. It works like a charm. I use it for like all my keys, to remember like to not lose my keys at work. You can do a lot of things with zip ties, basically. And that's my life hack, is like have some around the house. You never know when you'll need them. Do you have any experience with them, Eric? Or
Zilch. And that's a great life hack, honestly. Not something I would have thought of, honestly, but also very effective. That it also allows you to be handy in those situations. Handyman Matt. Like just where something might have looked broken, you're like, all right, I gotta buy a new garbage can now. Like you just drill a few holes, which you really already have, and zip ties. Like that's awesome. Where did you buy the zip ties, if I might ask? Like Home Depot or?
Exactly. I mean, I use them all the time at work, so I just bring a couple home when I need to. Which I don't know if I should have said that, but yes, you buy them at Home Depot and Canadian Tire. You can get them probably at craft stores too, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they're cheap. Honestly, order them on Amazon. They're probably the cheapest there. But yeah, no, they're just a good little thing to have if you're trying to improvise with things and, use things around the house to fix things, or not even fix, but like, oh, I need to hang this there, I need to use this. They're just a good tool for binding one thing to another, because they're really useful. But yeah, zip ties. That's my, I think that was my number 5. Yeah.
Nice. I actually probably could have used some this morning. It was the garbage day, and I was just closing up a garbage bag that was maybe a little too filled and wasn't able to properly attach the corners to one another. So I just stuffed it in another smaller bag the other way around, kind of creating some sort of bubble. And I hope none of that spilt in the garbage as the garbage people were picking that up out of the garbage. That's another story. Had I had a zip tie, I probably would have been able to saddle that nicely together.
Yeah. That's good call.
Good stuff, Matt. The next one I'll go with would be what did I just say? Chicken. So I'll go with something I'm just starting to do now, which for the longest time I've been on a compressed schedule at work where I'm able to work an extra hour every day, which results in me getting a day off the second week. So I normally take the Friday off, and I've just started doing this kind of due to operational requirements, just because a lot of people take Friday off at work. I've started to take Mondays off. And just like, actually, it also ended up working out better for me to have the Monday off. So being a team player also just beneficial for me. So double win. And I think that this is going to start to become the new norm for me, where it was absolutely phenomenal to have Monday off. It literally felt like a Sunday the entire day, but in the best way possible, where I feel like I could get a lot done as well. And knowing that my colleagues were working that day, which makes it so much better, where I'm not one of them. So it was like a bonus Sunday, because the Sunday I actually had was spent watching football, so not really being productive. And now I could actually be effective around the house and get tasks and chores done on the Monday. And then on the Tuesday, every day I kind of felt like I was one day off. Like it felt like a Monday on Tuesday, Tuesday on Wednesday, vice versa, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So really a great game. I know a lot of people do this. This is really not news for most people. I know a lot of people take Mondays off instead of Fridays. I used to be a huge Fridays off guy. I'd be a big advocate for it, especially when I would be going away somewhere on the weekend. You either pack up on the Thursday, leave, and then you're off Friday, or you leave early Friday morning. It's great. You get a jump start on the weekend. But maybe I'm just more boring now. I'm not doing as much of that stuff, so I don't need the Friday off anymore. I don't know. It's like going out on Thursday night. Like, oh, I can be hungover on Friday. I'm not working. It's no big deal. Like, I ain't going out on no Thursday. I can tell you that anymore. So, and I also feel like now with football season starting, I can watch more of the games. Well, there's not that many games that are late on the Sunday night, but I can watch that game no problem, stay up later, and not have to worry about working on the next day. So taking Mondays instead of Fridays off has been nice for me. I would recommend it to anybody who may be in the same place as me, where you used to be a Friday person. Now, look at that Monday. It's nice. And also at work, there's way less people who come in on Fridays anyway, so they tend to be quieter days depending on what section you're in. Like today, recording on a Friday, it was actually extremely busy for me to be in, but it's also good to be busy at work. You don't want to not be busy, so.
I've actually had a schedule where I had Sunday and Monday off, and it's freaking awesome. Your Sunday feels so much better. It's like another Saturday. It's amazing. And then the Monday's not that bad. Like like what you said, it feels like a Sunday, but not as bad. We all dredge that Sunday night. I hate I work Monday morning, so I hate Sunday night. It's terrible.
Yep.
You just want to drink, but you can't.
That's the thing too, right? Like if you end up taking the Monday off instead of the Friday, if you make that change, you're not doing it for the same reason as you would when you're taking the Friday off. Like, you're not going out on a Sunday night for the most part anyways and getting after it.
Yeah.
It's like a rest, recoup, extra day off. It's great, but you're not about to hit up the clubs till 3 a.m. there on a Sunday night. I don't know, but it's a different phase in your life. You want that extra day to mow the lawn.
Good call, Eric. I didn't know you were on a schedule like that, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Get a lot done in that day, like you said.
Yep.
Okay, my next one is, so this wasn't always the case for us going to grocery stores, Ever since, I don't know if it was the reduction of plastic or COVID that caused this, but we're doing a lot of our own stuff at the grocery store now in terms of bagging our stuff, doing a lot of our own even a self-checkout. But I'm talking, my life hack's more specifically, or my tip is more specifically for when you use a cashier and you have to bag everything with your reusable bags. I'm very strategic at that point of time. When I'm at the grocery store, I will place all my items off my cart onto the conveyor belt strategically. I want them to go in my reusable bags in that order. And it's not that hard. You go heavy stuff first, medium stuff second, and the bread and the really stuff that'll get smushed last. Okay. And I group all my meat together. And I don't know, I feel like that's a really good tip, because when I'm feeling the pressure of the person behind me coming up and wanting, we've all felt that pressure. I'm super quick at bagging my own groceries. So it's a tip for that. I don't know, cart right behind you, right? Or am I crazy?
No, it's the worst. You feel, and honestly, it's very you shouldn't feel that pressure. It's really not on you. You're literally there to get your own food. And so I'll just add on to that in that what kind of makes your strategy tougher for me is that with the price matching, we always put those items first. Get them out of the way. You say, okay, I have to price match these things, blah, blah, blah. This is from Sobeys, this is from No Frills, whatever. Then once all that's done, then you're only able to get to your bagging. So you're already a step behind. The person behind you is annoyed. They're like, oh, this person, like, just pay for these stuff at wholesale price like the rest of us. But honestly, like, you shouldn't have to feel any shame about wanting to price match, first of all. And the time that it takes to bag is the time that it takes to bag. Like, the standard is the standard. And everybody's different. And you're gonna if it means you have to wait another 30 seconds before you can start bagging your stuff, like, so be it. I don't really feel bad, but for some reason you kind of do feel bad at the same, even though you really shouldn't. It's a wild phenomenon out there. No, I agree. That's a good strategy, Matt. I think that's something to incorporate once we get the price match items out of the way. Everything else should be in that sort of order based on weight or theme. Also, like, maybe grouping of food groups, like your frozen foods together, like meats, all that, keep that together. Like, that's kind of how we organize it there. But no, I like that strategy for sure. I feel like I've gotten better at bagging. Used to not really be my thing, but I don't have a choice. So you either sink or swim in this environment. But yeah, we could do a whole episode on grocery store etiquette, probably, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, actually, just on that topic, the cashier, who, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there are some out there, I know for a fact, who will just, like, slam your things on the conveyor belt. Like, they're throwing them at you. I was like, man, relax. You're like, what did this loaf of bread ever do to you? It's just wild.
Yeah, they don't like their job or something, so they take it out on us.
One time, actually, so there's this one person who I've seen do this multiple times, and the first time I'm like, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day. Won't put it past them. The next time does the same thing. So what I was doing, I was standing right where, like, you basically have to pay in front of the cashier, but this person kept loading our things in and, like, putting them down quite hard on the conveyor belt. I would put my hand and catch what he was putting before he put it down. I did this like 3 or 4 times. He stopped doing it. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought, buddy. I should have just said something, honestly, but I just intercepted it every time before he could slam it down. And it's like, yeah, it got through there. I got you. Don't worry.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a small victory right there.
You're killing me right now.
Whenever we see that guy, we're not going in that aisle.
I can just picture your face when he's slamming them, like, are you kidding me right now?
I mean, like, you don't want to get into it with these people because when you go to the same grocery store all the time, like, we recognize them. I don't know if they recognize us, right? But you do, like, it is inevitable. If you're going to the same place every week, like, they have to kind of know, even though they see way more people than you see. It's you definitely don't want to be in an altercation where, like, oh, I remember that person that he started throwing the stuff I was slamming on his conveyor belt back at me. So you don't want to have that kind of dynamic. But also, like, it's also your food, so at a certain point you can't just take it because they're mad and slamming your apricots on the conveyor belt. So anyways, just thought I'd share that. And if that person is listening, well, just improve the etiquette on food slamming on the conveyor belt, please. Please. I'll keep the food train going. This actually would kind of fall into buying stuff, but it's make your own granola. Have I already talked about this on the pod? If I have, I'll go to another one. Do you recall?
I don't remember you mentioning that.
Don't? Okay.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
I got a lot of these tips also from this guy on YouTube. He has a channel, Pro Home Cooks. Definitely recommend his stuff. Very smart and impressive chef, I'll say. And he kind of shares a lot of tips to improve home cooking on your own to make it easier for you. And make your own granola is one thing that he imparted on me Love the recipe. It's quite easy. So you just buy a lot of this stuff at Bulk Barn, like your own rolled oats, multi or golden dried raisins, coconut flakes, a few other things like sliced almonds, whatever you want to put in there. It's super easy to do. You cook at like a low temperature, 250 degrees for 20 or so minutes. You move them around another 10 minutes, move them around another 10 until desired cookness.
Mm-hmm.
And I make my own sauce or liquid, basically like the sugary substance that you pour over the dry ingredients. It's basically a half cup of maple syrup, half cup of coconut oil, and he recommends like a pinch of cinnamon. I put a ton of cinnamon in there, cinnamon powder. It's delicious and adds a really good sugary flavor to it. It's way better than any granola you're gonna find on the market. It's customizable. You're using pantry items too. You throw some quinoa in there, some chia seeds, some hemp hearts. You can put some what else is there? Um, Flaxseed, anything that's like good for you, really like digestion. Throw it in there. Super easy to make. It's good on like a parfait if you make like a parfait. You just throw that in there. Strong recommend. Almost have a parfait every day, and granola is a big component of that. Adds another flavor to your yogurt and your fruit. So make your own granola again. You save money, make better quality food. You will not look back at the store-bought granola in a box. Let me tell you. I used to buy it in a box. It doesn't compare.
That's awesome, Eric. You just said it like save money and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And granola is a perfect snack. It's a great snack, actually. I don't eat granola at all because I don't want to buy it at the grocery. Like I don't want to buy it pre-made, right? So no, I have to look into that. I work long shifts at work too. It'd be a perfect snack to pack for my lunch. So good call. I have to look into that. Prepping my own, that's something I want to explore more and more of as my culinary skills are improving. I want to look more and more into like doing homemade stuff. Actually, I'll do the next one right now because it ties into like what you just said. It's basically having storage containers for your pantry and food items. Talking about like these glass containers with lids. I have them for a lot of items in my house or for my food. Like all my pastas go in there. All like sugar, every baking item basically. I have like breadcrumbs in one of them. Basically, it's just easier. All my rice too goes in giant containers. It's so much easier to portion it out than like using the box from the store or the container from the store. It's tightly sealed. It looks super neat in my pantry. I have a pretty sizable pantry, and it looks really clean and organized. And I'm always looking to like enhance that and have more and more of that. You can do it with cereal too, but I'm not there yet.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But yeah, like those storage containers you see all the time in stores or online. Like I'm a big advocate for those. It was actually my girlfriend's idea, and like I'm like hooked onto them now. Do you mess around with any of that, Eric?
No, I love the look of those though. Like I find it always looks great when you go in like either someone's kitchen or you see it on a show or whatever, and it all is in those kind of pots and containers. We're not on that wave yet, but maybe one day, who knows. But right now we just stick to the regular store boxes. But I think that's a great, like again, like I said, aesthetically pleasing, and is probably better to conserve a lot of them as well, depending on what you're looking at. Like some stuff we do have in different containers, like garlic and the granola, for example, that we make will be in a different container. Porcelain, I believe. But yeah, no, that's awesome. It's a good tip. And like for leftovers too, we definitely have glass containers there for any leftover. Like that'll go in there in the fridge, obviously there. But I think you're more referring to like in the storage rooms, like the pantry and stuff. So, but no, that's great. We'll go with the next one, which is this applies if I guess in my situation or anyone who's working at home. If you want to get a workout in, I always do mine at lunch now. If you have a 1 hour lunch period, work out at lunch. You might not always want to work out, honestly, but during that lunch hour, what else are you going to do? You can always eat your lunch either before your lunch hour or after, like, you can eat while you work, depending on what you do. If you work at home, right, you don't have to be sitting at the dining room table for an hour and perusing the
Right.
web on aritzia.com and just whatever. Anyways, so I'm saying go work out at lunch, saves time. You'll feel great about yourself after the fact. And you don't really need to do more than an hour workout to begin with. Like, I do mine like 20, 30 minutes, to be honest. So you pump that in there, stretch for a bit, shower, back to work, eat lunch after that while you work. And again, then it's a good thing done that you don't have to do either getting up earlier, like at the rooster's crow, and or after work, when really you have stuff to do after work, right? Like, you have to prep dinner that you're eventually going to be cleaning while you're prepping that and making that dinner. So double whammy of stuff that after you do all of that, you don't want to delay that dinner making process. Like, I like to get on that ASAP after
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So if you can get a workout in at lunch, you feel great about yourself, save time out of the way, do it up at that point if possible. Yeah.
That's great, Eric. I'd be doing the exact same thing if I had the situation where I had the 1 hour lunch at home. I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said. I do my workouts half an hour after I wake up because I'm like, I know the longer I wait, I'm not going to want to do it. So, like, breakfast, wait 30 minutes, do my workout. I have to do it like that or I won't do it at all. But I love the time. Like, saving time like that is like, oh, I love it. It just, that's what I'm trying to always improve on. So good call. And it doesn't even, like, 30-minute work. I only do 30 minutes at a time. That's plenty of time. And you still have time to eat your lunch too. Or you can do 1 hour. Like, you can go to you can do however long you want. You don't need more than an hour is what I'm saying. So no, good tip, Eric. I'm going to keep the train rolling with the organization. I used to be someone who lived way less organized in the sense of I used to have drawers full of, like, bills and pay stubs and just paper in general. We're living more in a paperless society, but we still get a bunch of papers either from the dentist at work, for your house bills. I have all these binders now, and I have a hole puncher and plastic sheets, and everything is super organized with dividers and everything. I don't know if it's my OCD perhaps, but that's what I recommend you do, because nothing is lost now, and I can go back and look at what I paid for this. If there's a problem, nothing is lost, basically. All my hydro bills are together, gas bills, pay stubs from work, which now I'm getting electronically, so forget those. Yeah. But there's, like, all my dental stuff, all, like, every everything is in a binder on a shelf with, like, labels. I love it. I recommend you do that. You don't have to go as insane like me. You can only have one binder if you want to shove it all in there, but it's been great in terms of just being organized, Eric. So I don't know if you do this or your papers are scattered everywhere in your house, but let me know.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip, Matt. I'm not super organized or unorganized, honestly. I feel like I'm a bit in between. Most of them are paperless, but you're right. A lot of stuff does come in paper full, and those ones just go in. Like, I have a bunch of different like not filing cabinets, just like folders, I guess, that have miscellaneous, like you said, like old pay stubs, T4s, record of employment, like a lease of a car that I don't even have anymore, like stuff like that. So it's not extremely organized, honestly, but everything kind of has a place. But you're right. If I were to take the time to organize everything in binders, that would be very beneficial with the color codes and stuff. That would really make it helpful for me to know, like, exactly what's where. I do have that on my computer. Like, all the bills have their own folders on my computer, so that helps for the like you said, the paperless bills. But that's a great tip for anybody who is kind of, like, all over the place and needs something to help them organize themselves. So I'd co-sign that as well. Not really by experience, but just as, like, a good practice for sure.
Awesome.
Great. I'll go with my last food one. Probably the least interesting one, honestly, but it's something I've been doing a lot of lately, and it piggybacks off of the granola train I was talking about, and the parfait specifically, which would be add zest to things. So I'm talking about lemon zest and orange zest. I don't know if this is something you do, Matt, in your cooking, specifically when you're making a smoothie, I'll put like half a lemon zest in a smoothie. Absolute game changer. Gives some great, great flavor depending on the fruit that you choose. Like I'll go with a 4 fruit blend of berries, so blackberry, blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, bunch of zest. Like just basted in the zest. And then some Greek yogurt and protein powder, chocolate flavor, water. Stir that up. Absolutely incredible smoothie in my opinion.
Wow.
And also in the parfait, I'll throw some lemon zest in there. In like a lot of recipes that you'll use Greek yogurt in. Like if you're making a marinade, for example, for even chicken, or I've seen lamb done, haven't done it myself. Lemon zest in there adds a lot of flavor, and orange zest in smoothies as well, and in any like orange marinade recipe, throw some zest in there. Orange or lemon shrimp. I'll just throw some in the pan as I'm cooking shrimp up. Just add a bit of zest with some garlic too, butter. Whew. Whew. It's good stuff.
Making me hungry.
Yeah, same.
I don't screw around with zest at all, actually. Maybe I should now. I did see you posted about the zest in the smoothie,
Yeah, true.
and it looked freaking good. And you know what? I'm going to have to start looking into that. That's where you got me, Eric. You know your flavorings and spices, I think, a little more than I do. I like your soup game is amazing. Your flavor game's amazing. I know. I've heard you describe. Well, we had that cooking episode, I remember. Yeah. So keep those tips coming, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
You can share those anytime. But yeah, that's good to know. I don't even buy, like I said, I don't mess around with it. Good tip.
Well, wait, sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just gonna say, if you were gonna say you don't buy lemons and buy lemon juice, I don't know if that's what you were gonna say. Just jumping the gun here. Buy lemons over lemon juice, in my opinion. Way better, maybe more pricey, but that's where it won't really skimp out on. Is like buy like a 3-pound bag of lemons. Use them literally almost every single recipe will use a lemon, and like you said, you get the zest in there. It's kind of like buying the chicken instead of the chicken breasts. You get a bit more out of the. And I don't even know if that's what you're gonna say, but I'm adding that in there. Buy 3-pound bags of lemons.
No, I don't. I'm gonna have to start. I don't screw around with lemons at all. I used to when I was by myself, but now I don't.
Okay.
I just ignore them. But for sure, I would buy the big bulk quantities, and lemons could be used for just the lemon juice. So useful.
Oh yeah.
Like dressings and stuff. But no, good call, Eric. I'll do my last kitchen one. I never did this. Then my girlfriend told me about it, and I'm like, why did I do this all the time? It's when I'm like using my, I buy jars of pasta all the time. I don't have time to make pasta sauce myself, spaghetti sauce. But after I dump the jar in my pan, there's always a bit left over, and I used to just chuck those in the blue bin straight. But now I add a tiny bit of water. I swish it around really fast. I dump that in the pan too, and the jar is freaking clean. And I don't have to give grief to the recycle people. And I've used up every single ounce of pasta sauce, so it's being more efficient. Nice. So my hack is to just put water, swish it around, dump the rest of the can in there. I don't know. Do you do this, Eric? Is it super obvious, or am I an idiot?
No,
I don't know. I do it all the time.
So it works for in this situation of like you actually get to use more of the leftover sauce that you weren't gonna use. You're just gonna kind of throw away. If I'm understanding correctly here. And then you have a clean pot right away.
Yeah, like the jar is clean instead.
Yes. Okay, so basically any sauce that comes in a jar, like pesto for example, is the first one that's coming to mind. I'll immediately rinse because otherwise it's a bitch to clean. Like you'll have to scrape like an animal in there, and same goes with the tomato sauce for sure. So no, I do this, but probably I don't use what's the leftover like residue that you're now using as well. Don't do that.
Yeah, like I use I always use 2-3 jars to make like a ton of sauce. So like I'm always wasting a little bit, but now I use the complete container.
Nice.
But I guess for other product it would be tricky too.
But no, that's a good one.
Ketchup or anything. There's always leftover ketchup when I throw it away.
Oh yeah. Big time.
But no, just for like pasta jars, it's useful. I know a lot of people rinse their stuff too. I used to never do it, but now I just try to use it up as best as possible. So
Like,
yeah, that's my tip.
I wonder if this applies also to like a bottle of soap, for example, that it's run dry. Like a bottle of dish soap, for example. If you put a bit of water in that bottle, you swish it around, you're kind of just creating soap based on the residue. Is that what you're talking about? Like, is that what you mean? Kind of like there's residue in the whole bottle, and by putting a bit of water, you're able to access what seemed like nothing and turn shit into gold, as they so eloquently say. That apply or am I just off
That's
the
exactly
mark?
what I mean, Eric.
Okay.
That's exactly what I mean. I do it like with my shampoo. I don't like fill
There
it
we
up
go.
with
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
when I know
Too.
there's a little bit of shampoo left, I add a bit of water. Same with my body wash, my dish soap.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Okay.
another hack for my dish soap is I keep the same bottle constantly of dish soap, but I buy these giant jugs and use a little like I can't think of my word right now. I basically fill up the small container endlessly with this giant container, so I don't have to buy.
Nice.
I can buy. It just saves money that way, and I do that with a lot of stuff. I mean, we do it with our soap, with our hand soap all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone does that, but you can do that with dish soap too. I do it with Windex as well. I have a giant jug of Windex, and I keep filling up the same bottle over and over again.
Okay.
But yeah, those are just to save money, and I don't know.
Oh, makes sense.
But that was my tip.
No, that's good stuff. I'll go with my last non-cleaning one or cooking one, and it would be write down. I feel like I've already said this on the pod. I'll say it again because I restarted doing this. I had fallen off it, but write down tasks that you want to get done in the day, and then knock them down because that gives you concrete evidence of, okay, I need to get this done ASAP. Like even if stuff is due on a certain day, like add in parentheses due on September 17th or whatever, and then it'll make sure that if, as long as you're referring to this, I have it's a journal basically in it, and I'm just putting check marks in, writing what I have to do, and then I check mark it off as I'm done. You can do this on your phone too if you don't want to have a physical book, but I do like having the physical book because on your phone there's so many other things you could do, whereas this is sole purpose is to remind you, hey, check in here, see if you still have stuff to do. So I find that to be a good reminder of stuff. If I'm forgetting that I'm supposed to do something, I'll look in here. I'm like, all right, I have to vacuum tonight or whatever, which I actually have to tonight. So it's good that I have it written down, right? So it's a good way to remember what you need to do and then actually force you to get them done because it is satisfying to check mark stuff off. I love doing that. So that'd be mine. Write a list of things to do kind of on a daily basis if possible and then just knock them down.
That's a great one, Eric. I do this all the time too. It's just an extra motivation. It's satisfying, like checking off something like on a piece of paper. Like I've done this, I crossed it off. I have I have this giant list of stuff to do, Eric, and I have 3 categories for it, like short term, long term, mid term, and like short term is stuff like what you just described, vacuuming and stuff. And I love checking it off, and it's rewarding. I write a lot of stuff on the calendar too. Like I need to do this, that. Use. Great tip. You're more likely to do it if you write it down, if you've already set that time in your brain to do it that day. Good tip, Eric.
Exactly.
Everyone should be doing that. I have, for my last one, I have a lot of different ones here. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. It's basically using newspapers other than for another okay, let me restart. Using newspaper is basically if your shoes are soaked, you shove them in. You basically fill your shoe up with newspapers, and it's going to dry them to perfection. Also, though, using newspapers at the bottom of your garbage bag when you're starting a new one, I do this a lot because I throw a lot of stuff from the kitchen in the kitchen garbage that like leaks in the newspaper and black bin. That it's not leaking everywhere. It actually soaks it up really nicely.
Okay.
So you can use newspaper for your shoes, for the garbage can. It's very useful to have to start a fire in your fireplace. I always hoard newspaper, even though like it's not coming to my house. I bring it from other places. It's multi-purpose.
That's a great tip. Never thought of doing that, honestly, and would be good, especially for the garbage. For me, they're just anything that leaks through, like then it creates a disgusting smell in the garbage that the bag is housed in normally, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. I missed the first part of that. Sorry. What was the first one? Garbage in your shoes, the
Oh,
newspapers?
okay. Yeah. So I, if your shoes get soaked, which happens a lot to me, because I refuse to wear boots sometimes, but my shoes, I shove newspaper in my shoe, like overfill it with newspaper to the brim, and the next day you take all the newspaper out and your shoe is bone dry. It's crazy. My
Okay.
dad taught me that when I was young, but it's
Interesting.
very useful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a hack for sure. Why the opposition to wear boots is my question.
I wear them. I just wait till the last minute.
That's great. Okay, no, definitely. We'll look into that one. Newspaper though, unfortunately, we don't have any. Like, we don't have a newspaper that
Yeah.
gets delivered to us, so we'd have to be filtering ours from like our parents or something. But maybe something
Yeah.
can be arranged there. When I go to watch the dog, just see if there's any newspapers lying around. Who knows? Um, but yeah. Okay, so last one, super weird, random, and this is one that we found on Instagram. And when Andy showed this to me, I did not think this would work. I was very skeptical of it, and now it's something I've been doing for like the last month, basically, while I'm manning the barbecue. Is instead of cleaning your barbecue grates with like a brush, you have like the brush that you're supposed to clean off the residue meat or whatever, anything that's stuck on there. Cut off an onion and use the head of an onion to just clean the grates. It's super
What?
weird. You look strange doing it, but it works. And not only that, it actually lubricates the grates themselves, so you don't also need to put oil on them, which is what I used to do, is put olive oil and on a little brush and then paint the grates so nothing sticks on them. And it
Right.
works. It's pretty crazy, honestly. If you have people over and you're cooking barbecue for them, they might have some questions for you, but then you just tell them to trust the process. It works. And we're just going through onion heads left and right out here. But yeah, I think this is definitely a hack. It's a game changer on the barbecue. And the plus side of this is that it will ensure that you don't get any bristles from your brush stuck on your barbecue grates. And this is where it came from. Is that apparently there was this woman who swallowed a bristle and it got stuck in her throat. And I don't know the full details of the story there, but it ended up having her be hospitalized, and thankfully she's okay now. But it's by the odd chance that something like that were to happen, if it can be prevented, I would recommend you try the onion head strategy. Let me know what you think. For us, it's been working, and yeah, so it's definitely a different one, but it is one. So test it out. Let me know what you think. I know barbecue season's maybe coming to an end there, but barbecue today, and I had an onion chopped, and the rest of it went in the vegetable platter after. So nothing about the onion gets wasted. That's the thing. The top of the onion, you're throwing that out in compost, right? So
I like that, Eric. You just blew my mind. I'm gonna have to try that like tonight or tomorrow. So like instead of the part where you're scraping your barbecue, use the onion and it will clean or lubricate the grill. Like it will actually clean. I can't believe this. I'm gonna have to try this.
it does
It will do
both.
this.
It's both clean and lubricate.
Wow, I gotta try this. My mind's blown right now, Eric.
Pretty crazy.
You have no idea. I want to go out right now and try this. That's insane.
Yeah, maybe it
You get a
depends.
bit of flavor
So
in too, right?
it might
The onion
depend on
gives
how
flavor.
dirty your grates are. I will
Right.
say that it's
Right.
not like a 100% clean. It's not like you're using barkeeper's friend on a stainless steel pot there and it looks brand spanking new, but it does get residue off. I will say that.
Okay.
And you do have to. We wait for it to get to a pretty high temperature, like 350,
Yeah.
400, and then just grab it and then just go to town. Like you would
Okay.
scrub a kitchen floor.
Sweet.
It gets hot though. Like your hand is gonna feel a bit of heat on that. I'll just say also.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, good tip. That's great.
I wanted to save that one for last for sure. And
That's
I
a
did.
great one.
Yeah.
Did the listeners submit anything as crazy as that one?
Well, you tell me. So we got some. I have one that is a video, and I hopefully you can play it in this episode. So I'm just figuring that out. But so I'll go in order. So the first one we got was from my bro Zach. So he said non-fat Greek yogurt and protein powder. Healthy way to increase protein intake. So this is something that I've also discovered quite recently. Game changer. If you're the parfait that I was talking about, you throw a bit of protein powder in your yogurt, mix it up.
Okay.
It's straight up a dessert. Depending on the flavor you have, most protein powders are a certain like chocolate or vanilla flavor. Absolutely incredible. And like Zach said, you're getting a good protein intake, and Greek yogurt has protein in it inherently. So you're just doubling that, if not quadrupling that, or bypassing triple. And it tastes delicious. So that's a huge hack. 100% endorse it. Matt, do you get on that Greek yogurt protein powder wave?
I don't mess around with it at all. I'm very ignorant to like protein powders and like things. Well, thank you for educating me, Zach. Thanks for that tip. I do like my yogurt though, but I probably don't buy fat free. But no, that's a really good tip. I'll have to try that.
I would definitely endorse. Now we're gonna stay on the food train. This one is from the homie Bassam. He said, go to a Lebanese pie place. Ask for one meat pie and one cheese pie. Then just slap your hands together. They will know what it means. That's what he said. Word for word. Don't. I asked him about this. I'm like, you just don't say anything. You just slap your hands together, and they'll know that. Yep. No words need to be exchanged. Apparently, this is a game changer. I'm assuming, put the two pies together. So I have to try this out. I cannot comment on I'm assuming it's true. So, have you heard of this, Matt? Are you indoctrinated in this cult of hand slappers for pies?
No, not at all. And like my Lebanese grandmother would make homemade cheese bread or cheese pies and meat pies, and I'd eat them individually. Never once did she suggest to put them together. So obviously she didn't know. But she's from a little like farming village and thing. I don't know. I will have to try that though. That sounds delicious. I love my Lebanese food. So great tip, Sam. I had no idea.
I don't think many of us did, honestly. So that is a great one. The next one was from the homie Klisin Ud. So she said, I boil my water for the week on Sunday. So, not sure about that. I don't know in what context she meant, but boil water on the week on Sunday. What does that mean?
I know. You can save boiled water and it retains its warmth. I've seen videos on this. You can pre-boil water to save time. I think even you may even freeze it actually. Something crazy like that, where it stays boiled. I don't know if it's freezing. There is a way though. You can look this up after we get off, but you can pre-boil water and retain it, so then the Monday after work, it's already there to do your spaghetti. You're good to go. You're not wasting that 10 minutes or whatever.
Interesting. So, okay.
Yeah, it's basically like saving time during the week when you have less time to make supper. So, good call, Kristen.
So you freeze boiling water that will remain warm. That's my mind is blown right now.
Maybe not freezing it, but there's a way. I did look this up. We'll have to investigate. I don't know.
Absolutely gonna investigate this. No, that's good though. Thank you, Kilsen. So the next one was from the homie Ron Antoine. His was afternoon nap, which I mean cannot deny the power of an afternoon nap. It's undefeated. A nap is a nap is a nap is a nap.
As someone who never naps now, I don't know. I don't feel like I need to nap right now. Maybe in the future, it's a great life hack, and I'll need to do it. But now I have no need to nap right now, and I don't feel tired at all during the day. I'm always busy now. Before, when I was on my own, always watching movies, I was tired all the time. Now I'm on my feet most of the day. I don't feel the need to nap at all. So, but I am tired, really tired at night now. So, no naps for me, Eric.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't nap either. So, but I do know that people do like their naps. It's a good way to get some energy. I will not
Yeah.
actually. That's not true. I will nap if I have like a big night ahead or something coming back from the office. Then you need to recharge, but never really more than like 20 to 35 minutes. I don't like to nap for an hour. Then I really feel thrown off. And
Yeah.
sometimes it is tough. Like you wake up from a nap, you're like, oh, like I want to just keep sleeping, right? Because
Yeah.
it's tough to just get in that short term 12
Yeah.
nap, and
Hey now.
you want more. So thank you, Ron. The next one was from my mom. So she submitted a few. The first one was taking 15 minutes on the weekend to prep your clothes for the week. Ideally, it makes your mornings easier, which was the rationale there. Which, not something that I do, but would be good to just have it all mapped out for the week right away. Don't need to, one less thing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Another one was from my mom was do a recipe in double and then freeze a bit for another meal. It doesn't really take much more time, and it
No.
saves
Yeah.
you time in that you only have to clean all the dishes that you used to make it once, right?
Those are great. I have my clothes ready for the next day, the night before, every day of the week. So like I do that, and I always cook large quantities. Not because like I'm not freezing it. I'm actually consuming it because we eat a ton of leftovers here. I have food for work. I'm always cooking larger portions than I need. I never cook the right amount. It's always a bit more. It's because it's not that much more effort. Like your mom nailed it. And clothes, like I wear a uniform at work, so like I always have it ready and folded, so I don't have to think when I wake up. Even on the weekend, I do that with my other clothes. So those are great tips.
Yeah, definitely. So the next one was from Andy. So you all know her. Was getting a brush for dishes where you can fill the inside with soap, load it up with Dawn dish soap and vinegar, and you can clean anything with that. So it's basically like a brush that you get for, like, it's intended for dishes, like she said, and in this case it would be used to clean our shower, for example. Like you can just get in the walls, clean like anything that's dirty in there, pretty much anything. Like it's just a handy way to use a brush that has one purpose but make it a bit more multi-purposed.
Great tip. I know exactly what she's talking about. I don't have said brush, but I've used it in the past, and I like that she said use it for thinking about using it for a lot of other stuff. I like that. I might have to look into that because there are areas like behind my sink in the bathroom where like running a paper towel with my fingers isn't optimal. That brush size would be perfect for that, actually. And no, good tip.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna queue up this submission that I got. It's a video one, so I'm just trying to get this to play. I don't know how I'm not able to figure this out. It's too last minute there. I don't know why it's not wanting to record it, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. I can just show it to you on the screen right now.
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
that's next best thing. So this is from a coworker of mine, Courtney. I'll just let this speak for itself.
Okay, cereal box. Some people close it like this, right, or whatever. I'm gonna hack for you. So you take it, you fold it like this, then you take the sides, and you fold them in, okay? And then you take this top part and you fold it like this, like so. It is much easier than this. I'm just having issues. Yeah. Keep your cereal fresh all the time.
So never seen this before in my life, and
Me neither.
it did seem like it took quite a bit of time to fold this. I'm questioning how efficient this is, but if it keeps the food fresh, like what we do for cereal is like crunch, roll it up, the bag, I mean, in the cereal box, and then put like a clip on it, just like shut it to make sure there are no leaks and no air goes in there and make it stale. But this sort of folding technique. So if you weren't able to watch this is why you got to watch on the YouTube. You get all this good stuff. I'm going to play the clip, though, in audio form, so you will have heard the clip. You have no idea what is happening. It looks like it works, though, so thank you, Courtney, but I'll have to test this out. Also, I wonder if this works. So I have the Vector double box at home. That's my go-to. So I don't know if you can double up that. I don't know if this applies on the big box, but on the regular regulation size multigrain Cheerio box, it could work. So I'll report back.
I think it looks really neat and tidy what she did. I do too. Like, I clip my bags too if needed, or use my storage container, or get storage containers for it. But what I like is I could maybe use this for smaller boxes of other things and close them. It basically closes the box a lot better, and it's not like half flapping open like half of my boxes in my pantry. So I kind of like that. It just makes it look neater. Maybe harder to open, maybe more annoying to open after. I don't know, but I'll have to try that for sure. Thank you for submitting that.
Yeah, so that was it for our submission. So thanks a lot, everybody. Love when everyone gets in the mix there. Always good stuff and fun for us to go over as well and learn new things. So that would be it then for a life hacks discussion. Thanks, Matt. Great stuff to share. And yeah, I mean, we could recommend a few things there to close off the epi.
Sure.
I've been watching quite a few movies. I'll throw one on that actually just came on Disney Plus yesterday at the time of recording. It's a 2023 movie I'm just adding onto my list called Theater Camp. Have you heard of this movie, Matt?
No, I have not.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, like, it basically means what it says. It's about a group of individuals who attend a theater camp in the summer. It's their kind of safe place where people from multiple different backgrounds come together and bond over the love of theater. And the woman who runs the camp has now fallen into a coma, so her son is now the one responsible for running the camp, and he's just an absolute goof who has no real experience with theater. I found it to be very funny, honestly. The thing with this movie is I had heard it was very funny, so I went into it with kind of high expectations, and for the start of the movie, it wasn't really hitting for me, but there was a moment where quite a few funny moments started to happen for me, and I find that it gets better as you get through it. So if you're kind of like me, going into it, like the first maybe 20 or so minutes, you're not really laughing that much, stick with it, because honestly, comedy doesn't necessarily have to be this laugh out loud. I know this is ironic to say, but always like knee-slapping moments. It's a lot of nice moments of relatable stuff that's happening, a lighthearted and warm story. You get all of that in this movie. So it's an easy watch, rated PG-13, like not going to ruffle any feathers. Good wholesome movie. Definitely recommend it. An hour and a half long too, like very easy watch. Theater Camp.
Perfect.
It's on Disney Plus.
All right, I added it to my list. It sounds right. It sounds like a good movie. Had not heard a word about it. May have seen the picture of it actually, but good recommendation. I've been slacking on my movies with all the baseball going on and more TV show watching actually.
Oh, nice.
Like I closed out the Justified spin-off on Disney Plus.
Nice.
Justified City Primeval. It was really good. 8 episodes, easy to watch. I love the characters so much that like I'm super biased, but I really enjoyed that season. Kind of did like a Dexter thing where a season's so long after the original run of the show, but it was really good. I did start a new show based on your recommendation actually, and we may or may not talk about it. I'm thinking we will. But I started One Piece on Netflix.
Let's go.
I'm on the episode 3. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
I'm actually loving it.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's I could binge watch this in 8 hours, like whatever. Or yeah, there was 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I could watch it all in one shot. That's how much it's not boring at all. Very colorful, cool characters, cool scenery, just everything about it. The action. I haven't been bored for a minute yet. I don't know. I've only seen 2 episodes. You're probably further along, I'm guessing. But we also want to save our thoughts, perhaps. I'm thinking this is a show we could talk about.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, One Piece, really good so far. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll save it for later. But have you finished the show yet, Eric? Are you halfway?
No, so I've started the 4th episode, but I wasn't able to finish it. So I've like probably a good 40 or so minutes of it to finish. It's an hour episode where I'm at. So
Okay.
I'm loving it as well, honestly. I went into it with decent expectations based on people saying it was good, and it has not disappointed so far. Like you, love the world that it's set in, love the colors. It just makes for a good, again, feel good show where maybe, and, okay, like you said, I don't want to say too much there.
Yeah, we'll save
But
it.
it's good. Like, I definitely recommend One Piece. If you haven't seen it, get on it because, like Matt said, may possibly be doing a show on it down the road. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's solid. Like you, though, I could easily rip this, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
space it out as much as possible because it is a nice, fun show to watch every night or every other night. And
Yeah, you want to savor it. You don't want to
Exactly.
get it all over with. Exactly. You want to let it marinate.
it got renewed for season 2 already, which is great.
Sweet.
But the thing is, like, who knows when that's gonna come, right? Probably not next year with the writers' strike. So you don't want to. While you don't want to spend like months going over an 8-episode show, you also don't want to
Yeah.
be just crushing it and then completely forget about it when it comes out in 2025 or whatever. So no, I love that recommendation. I also recommend it. I think I was gonna talk about One Piece too, so that knocks that off for me. I can go over to the album side of things. There's a few that dropped today, honestly, and funnily enough, one of them I was looking forward to because it's an artist that I've known for years, and his journey through rap has been really filled with ups and downs. And I was really hoping for a comeback album from this guy. The album's called Victor by Vic Mensa. So, he's someone who showed a lot of promise, but like I said, it really went downhill in the last 5 or so years. And I view this as a comeback album. I quite enjoyed it, honestly, on first listen. And it's funny because I was talking to our cousin Dylan, and he was just lambasting this album. Like, he absolutely hated it. And he only listened to the first 4 songs and was not a fan at all. I thought it was a bit of an aggressive take, honestly. I like how Vic gets very introspective on songs, and he doesn't shy away from saying everything that he's done in the past where he's like messed up relationships and drug abuse, and like it gets intense in his songs. But then he'll also have, I find, quite catchy, upbeat banger songs on there. So he finds a nice balance, and I found this to be, like I said, a solid album. So I'm interested to see upon multiple listenings how it turns out. But I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. Vic Mensa. If you don't really know his stuff, throw this one on. He has some older mixtapes that are amazing in my opinion. Like There's a Lot Going On from 2016. That's like peak Vic Mensa in my opinion. But I'd say Victor, check it out.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down immediately, Eric. I hadn't even heard of this. I don't even know who this artist is. So perfect.
Actually, he was on one of the songs on The Patience by Mick Jenkins. He was on one of the last songs. I forget what it's called, but he's late in the album. The song is Farm to Table, song 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of music too to recommend. That's what I have 3 things. I know 2 of them you may have. You've obviously listened to them, but like the first one I'll recommend is I saw it on Brandon, aka Hip Hop Fiend 85's Instagram, and it's Signature by Joel Ortiz. A freaking amazing album, actually. I listen to it a lot now. The first 2 songs are phenomenal. Like song 2 and 3, I think the first is an intro. It's a really solid album, in my opinion. I'm not super familiar with this artist's work, but Brandon recommended it. I listened to it a lot. I believe it's Signature by Joel Ortiz, and I forget the DJ's name.
L'Orange.
Yeah, I was gonna. Okay, French.
Yeah.
But it's mostly Joel Ortiz, I think. Maybe that guy might be the producer. I'm not sure,
Probably,
honestly.
yeah.
I don't know much about. I just like the music. You should check that out, Eric.
Okay.
Did you check out Special Machinery by 38 Special and Conway? I loved it. I actually thought it was great.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. Love that album.
song about my favorite movie on there, like What's Not to Love, the Goodfellas song I like. Just a really solid, quick album too, like perfect length for my workouts. Great stuff. So you agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, love Special Machinery. Like, the beats are amazing too, and all the production is handled by 38 Special and another producer. I forget his name. I actually don't know his name, but it's him and another guy. And the beats are great. 38 Special, such an underrated rapper. Like, he runs in the same circle as like Conway the Machine, who this album is with, and like Benny the Butcher and all them. But he's so good. Like, I was kind of late to the party with him, but I've gone back and listened to a lot of his albums. If I were to redo my 2022 list, I'd have one of his albums on there, Beyond Belief by 38 Special and Harry Fraud. Amazing album. It's again like 10 songs long, like 30 minutes. Too short, but every song hits. So you don't feel like a second is wasted. And I feel like that's the same situation on this album. There's so many good songs on here. Like, yeah, I could pretty much list them all. But no, Special Machinery, if I'm making my top 10 list right now, it's probably got a spot on there for it. So,
nice.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. I mean, I get, like, that would be it for music, other than, unless you're going to recommend something else that dropped today, which I'm sure you've had a chance to check out. So, we can both just say it. Magic 3 by Nas and Hit Boy.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts what this guy's doing.
I didn't even know this would drop. Like, was this announced? Like, it came as a surprise for me.
He announced it on Monday that it was dropping this Friday, which I love. First of all, I think more artists should do this. Like, this Friday I'm dropping an album. Like, let's go. That's what I want. The thing I hate so much, and a lot of rappers do this, they'll say a date well in advance. Westside Gunn and Benny the Butcher both did this year. August 23rd, my album's dropping. Says this in April, 4 months out. August 23rd comes around, crickets. It's like, dude, why are you telling us this? You know what I mean? So far in advance. Commit. The best time is, like I said, a week or two tops. That's when I want to know when it's dropping. People are already anticipating this. Well, I guess in the case of Nas, no one was anticipating Magic 3. But I love that. Just like, yep, it's coming this week. You're going to tune in. And best believe we did. And it's a great album. Again, these guys, Nas, Hit Boy, have not missed on an album together. Very good album. I've only listened to it once. And it's always amazing stuff that they do together.
Yeah, I've only listened to it once as well. And Magic 2 I still like more. But, I mean, Magic 3 I've only listened. You have to listen to an album more than once anyway. Yeah. So, it's crazy now that I'm going to have to decide like which one I like more, and it makes list making a lot harder, but I like it. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, that's all I had to recommend. Been light on the movies.
He's doing that on
It's always
purpose.
A debate. Yeah. Do I go 2023 or old movie? What am I doing here? I feel like you're going to crush the 2023 like the amount you're gonna do. So anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
I know, my 2023 movies is insane how many of them I've seen. Like, since our last episode, I got to see Barbie. Have you seen Barbie, by the way, or no?
Not yet. When I watch it, we should have a discussion about it, I think.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll also throw out just another one on Netflix. They Cloned Tyrone. I'm not even going to say anything about it. Just check it out. It's a great movie.
Yeah. I will. I read your review. I'm interested.
John Boyega, I'll just say that. He's in it. Great actor. I know he's done a few other movies that apparently are really good. Like, one that's about, I want to say Flint, Michigan. It's, hold up. I need to pull this up. But, man, the guy can act. He was amazing in this movie. And it's not necessarily like a super dramatic role there, but he did his thing. It's called, what is it? Oh, I saw him in The Circle. Horrible movie. He was in Detroit is the name of the movie. Apparently it's really good.
I heard that movie was great, actually, yeah. I haven't seen it.
Intense movie, probably, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, John Boyega, he's got to do more stuff. But yeah. That'd be all. They Cloned Tyrone. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, that's it for me, too.
Okay. So, yeah, good episode again, Matt. Any final notes for the listeners?
Thank you everybody for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned some stuff today. I learned a lot from your list, Eric, and I hope you have a great end to the summer. And yeah, thank you.
Yep, same here, Matt. Definitely did learn a lot from your list as well. So yeah, thanks a lot everybody for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 weeks. Continue to stay safe. I love you all, and yeah, peace.